With folks at the USGS this morning. Kit.
Yeah, good morning. We're live here at the U.S. Geological Survey in Menlo Park. We were speaking with a geophysicist who compared the force of this earthquake to that of the force of gravity. He had some interesting numbers talking about how fast some of these waves moved. This is Brad Aagaard, geophysicist with the USGS.
Up to 40% G and up to 2 feet per second in terms of how fast the ground moved. That is significant shaking that can cause damage to structures. 40% G, so the lateral acceleration was 40% of gravity. In terms of gravity would be what we feel in terms of what's keeping us on the earth, and it was 40% of that in the lateral direction. That's enough to cause damage, particularly in sort of the unreinforced masonry structures. Modern structures are generally designed to withstand shaking about that, but mainly the very sort of how fast that shaking occurred is enough to deform the ground, and that's why we're seeing a lot of broken pipes and so forth, because of how fast the ground moved, that it causes enough strain in the ground that pipes they just can't accommodate that motion. No, this earthquake was a strike slip, so lateral motion, and there are multiple map faults right in that area. It was close to the West Napa fault, and this is east of the Hayward-Rogers Creek fault system. The strike slip earthquake, in the horizontal direction you have lateral motion, and so that means that there was no strong vertical uplift. Like the magnitude 9 earthquake in Japan that caused the tsunami, that requires sort of this type of motion. So in California, particularly in the Bay Area, we tend to have strike slip earthquakes. The San Andreas fault is a strike slip fault. The Hayward-Rogers Creek fault system is strike slip fault. And so our plate boundary is deforming in the lateral direction, where one plate is sliding past each other rather than one diving underneath the other. And so that's why we tend to have strike slip earthquakes here in the Bay Area.
And so a 40% G force earthquake means that the ground was moving at about 2 feet per second. Also, the aftershocks, there were about 40 aftershocks happening after the big quake that hit at 3:20 this morning. The biggest one hit at about, we're in a 1.0 to 2.0 range. They say do expect more aftershocks in the coming week here, but the number of those aftershocks will decrease over time. Also, over the next week, there will be a 50% chance of an aftershock that is at least 5.0. That probability will not decrease over the week. And they say that this was typical damage for a 6.0, typical meaning they expect the kind of broken bricks and fallen items off of shelves that you see in Napa. And finally here, they say that they did not know that this quake was coming. So that's the latest here from USGS. We'll send it back to you.
Yeah, and from what we understand, Kit, too, there is also a decent chance, a 5 to 10% chance that this quake that we felt this morning was a foreshock to a larger quake that could come within the next several days. Did you speak with him at all about that?
Yeah, you know, from past experience, you never know when these things are foreshocks, but they say that there could be a chance that this could be a foreshock, but then the chance of a following earthquake that's bigger actually decreases significantly over time. So they're going to be monitoring this just like everybody else is.
Right. Kit, you live down in the South Bay, a significant distance from American Canyon, the epicenter. Did this wake you up? We heard this was felt as far south as Salinas.
Slept right through the whole thing, if you can believe that. And I polled a lot of friends and family, and everybody is saying in San Jose, that's where most of my friends and family are, nobody felt a single thing. And I'll tell you, I have a Wi-Fi camera that's very, very sensitive, and it didn't pick up a single thing. The dog didn't even bark. It was kind of crazy.
Oh, well, that sounds